We're getting to start off the new year this weekend with the spa retreat. Remember, it's free, so if you can, even if it's just for a short amount of time, go ahead and join us. But right now, I thought it would be a good way to start off is, a lot of times we have New Year's resolutions and we like goals. So we're going to go through and do a little bit of a materialization technique. But before we do that, it's been a few weeks since we've gotten together. So I want to open it up just to questions and answers for just a little bit before we get rolling. So it's been a while since we've had interaction. So fire away. Any questions? Anything goes. Go ahead and unmute yourself or type it in.
I have a very strange question. The oils bottles have different color labels. Do the different colors mean things?
Yeah, they do. The green ones, well, the prefab ones we made early on, but like the ones that are labeled in green are single oils. The gold is blends. The purple ones are the angel blends. And then orange is all the ones that are supports. Is that right? Mm-hmm. And then red is Supremes. And the blue are the kind of the light blue is the precious oils. And then the dark blue is usually the big bottles and the ointments and things like that. Like it's kind of an indigo color. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Any other questions?
Anything goes.
Okay, so it sounds pretty straightforward then. So let's do this. Let's have you think of, usually when you start to think of the year, you think of the things that like the patterns you'd like to break or a goal that you'd like to put forth, goal or goals. And so let's have you do this. Let's just have you take a few moments and just reflect on the things that you would like to have happen this year or something you'd like to set forward. And just reflect on them for a few moments and then write down or, make a mental note on like 2 to 3 goals, right? 2 to 3 goals. Okay, so I think you probably have had enough time to come up with a couple of goals. You probably already had them in mind, but when I was young, I didn't really understand the idea of setting the intention at the beginning of the year. But as I got older and life got busier, it became very clear. Sometimes if I don't put something in motion at the beginning of the year goes by and I don't get it done, or I don't integrate it. And so as I got older, I started realizing that, that whole thing about New Year's resolutions, it really was about putting something forth in the year. So let's do this. First, we're going to do a purification, and then we're going to do some of the materialization techniques, okay? So here are some choices for you with oils that you can use. Let's have you use like some form of a eucalyptus, cypress, or some form of a sage. If you don't have one of those, let us know. We'll give you some different choices, but any form of eucalyptus, cypress, or any form of a sage. Okay, I think we're good. Are we good there? Yep. Okay. So close your eyes And just hold your goal, hold just one goal at a time. Hold your first goal, hold it in your heart. Just keep your eyes closed and hold it in your heart. Okay, you can let it go. Now begin inhaling. Your awareness is on your throat, the middle of the throat on the front side. Long, slow, deep breaths. Move your awareness down to the bottom part of your throat, which is known as the throat minor. That little notch between your two collarbones. Take long, slow, deep breaths. Now, move your awareness to your back throat. So the middle of the back of your neck. Now move your awareness to the jaws, right where they hinge, right in front of the ear, in this area. Continue to inhale with your awareness on the jaws. Go to the temples. From your temples, go to your back head, so opposite the eyebrows on the back side. And then go to your forehead where the hairline is. Just be still, be aware. Keep your eyes closed. Just let it incubate. Now, that same goal that you started with, again, hold it in your heart. Same exact goal. If it starts to change, just sit with it. We're going to repeat the same process. Begin inhaling. Your awareness is on your throat. You're letting go of all the imagery. You're just doing the process now. You're inhaling. Your awareness is on your front throat. Drop down to the bottom of your throat, the throat minor. Long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness there. And now the back of your throat. The middle of the back of your neck. Go to your jaws where they hinge in front of the ear canals. Go to the temples. Go to the back head, so opposite the eyebrows on the back side. Go to the forehead. Just be still, be aware. Just keep your eyes closed. Let it incubate. Reflect on your goal. Hold it in your heart. Continue to hold the goal in your heart and begin inhaling that same oil you've been using with your awareness on your front heart. Long, slow, deep breaths. Move your awareness to the back heart, the area between your shoulder blades. Move your awareness to your forehead, where the hairline is. Move your awareness to the back head, opposite your eyebrows on the back of your head. Just be still, be aware, completely let go. Keep your eyes closed, just completely let go. Just be still. Begin inhaling again. Your awareness is on the back of your head, opposite the eyebrows. Move your awareness to the forehead where the hairline is. Your awareness is now on the back heart, the area between the shoulder blades. Your awareness is on your front heart. You're taking long, slow, deep breaths. Just be still. Maintain your stillness and awareness. Begin inhaling. Your awareness is on your front heart. Move your awareness to the back heart, the area between the shoulder blades. Move your awareness back to the front heart. Continue to inhale. Move your awareness again to the back heart, the area between your shoulder blades. Move your awareness again to the front heart. Just be still. Be still, be aware, keep your eyes closed. Just be still. Maintain your stillness and awareness. Now again, begin inhaling. Your awareness is on your front heart. Move your awareness to your throat. Move your awareness to the top of your head, the crown. Move your awareness to the throat. Move your awareness to the front heart. Move your awareness back up to the throat. Move your awareness to the crown. Move your awareness back to the throat. Move your awareness to the front heart. Keep your eyes closed. Let go of everything. Let go of the inhalation. Let go of where you're putting your attention. Keep your eyes closed. Just be still. Be aware. Just simply let go. Just keep your eyes closed. You're not inhaling anything. You're just being still. Just hear my voice. Meditate on the space or the gap between the words.
Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Maintain your stillness and awareness. Hold your goal in your heart.
Okay, just let everything go. Let everything go for a moment. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Open your eyes and move around for a second. Okay, now watch me for a second. This is what you're going to do. You're going to have the bottle of oil here, right? You're going to put your head down. You're going to inhale through your nose. Hold your breath. Up, exhale. Then you're going to hold your breath again, down, and then inhale. Up, exhale. Hold your breath, down, up, exhale. Hold your breath, down, inhale, up, exhale. Okay. So you're going to do this at least 4 times, but more like 9 or 10 times. Okay. So hold your oil. Now, before you start doing this breath, I'll tell you when. Hold your goal in your heart. You're going to use the same oil that you've been using. Okay, let the goal go. Hold the bottle up to your chest, head down. Inhale through your nose. Hold your breath, head up. Exhale through your mouth. Hold your breath, head down. Inhale, head up. Exhale. Head down. Inhale, head up. Exhale. Okay, do 5 or 6 more on your own. Inhale, exhale. Okay, just be still. Maintain your stillness and awareness. Again, hold your goal, that same exact goal, hold it in your heart. Let it go again. Hold the bottle up to your chest. Do 8 or 9 of this materialization breaths. Just be still. Be aware. Keep your eyes closed. Okay, one more time. Hold the goal in your heart. Do you notice that something is happening? Let the imagery go. Hold the bottle up to your chest and do about 9 or so of the materialization breaths. Just be still, be aware. Okay. Anybody care to share an experience or if you have questions?
You can type it in or unmute yourself. Yeah, Cindy?
Okay, well, I'll just say that the goal feels more concrete, even when I
Good.
check in with the other goals as well. But I got like completely exhausted and like everything was just drained right out of me, and which was not what I expected.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a couple of different things. It could be that the body is just relaxing. Sometimes we're running on adrenaline, and part of the breathing thing is you're moving energy from the lower centers up. It could be that, or it could be that, like sometimes when you're doing this, like we basically went through and we cleaned up our mental thoughts about it. And then we were trying to, physicalize it as best we could, or integrate it, I should say. And so sometimes what happens when you start to make a big mental shift, you kind of almost go into that state where, how it's like in between sleeping and being awake, where you're kind of conscious, but you're not completely conscious. You're a little bit altered, but not completely altered. You kind of go into that state because you're processing something in the unconscious, and knowing you, that's what you're probably doing. Is you're probably processing something. It's good, but sometimes it's almost like afterwards you end up taking like a little nap or something.
Well, yeah, I went and laid down on the couch while we were doing some of it because it was.
When I go and see one of my teachers, like every time I see him, like for like a day or two afterwards, I sleep a whole bunch because I'm just processing a whole bunch of things, and I have like kind of crazy wild dreams, and I feel a little bit worked, but it's because your mind is letting go of things. Like if you think of your mind as like all your thoughts and your beliefs and your ideas and your experiences and your hopes and preconceived ideas and all those, it's like we keep building like these walls of sorts, and we end up building like a kind of maze of things that we try to operate within. And when we're trying to bring in something new, it's like it has to fit in that maze somehow. And when you go through and you do something like what we just did, you're basically knocking down the walls, or at least some of the walls. And so, you're having to process and let go. And what does that mean? Your unconscious is having to do a bunch of paperwork right now. And so, that's a good thing. I mean, sometimes, it's like you said, it can be a little bit fatiguing. I mean, one time I was doing something that I was just having really great difficulty with. And so, I did a little ceremony and I did this, and I'm not joking, I slept for 20 hours after that.
Wow.
I mean, you can see like how much of a block I had in my head about this particular issue. And, I can't say that I woke up the next day and was like, oh boy, I've got it. It took me about a week. And then I just noticed that, like, without really trying, my thoughts were different. And when I would start engaging the old way of thinking, it's like it didn't have energy behind it. And it was actually kind of quite boring. Like I couldn't keep my attention on it because I was like, yeah, I'm done with that. I don't want to do that anymore. So it's like you're not even trying to make yourself do something different. It's shifting and it's starting to happen. And so that shift, it does take some energy, it does take some life force, and your brain best does that when it's in an unconscious state. Like, so really most times when that happens for us, it's when we're sleeping. And so when you're starting to shift, you almost start to go into a little bit of that state. It's really hard to shift or let go of something when you're in a conscious, really rational state, because we have all the reasons why we're doing something. So you can almost tell, like when you're shifting, because you almost go, what was I thinking about? Like, it gets a little fuzzy because something new or different is going to happen. And when it's deeper, you start to almost go into that state of like when you're like asleep or in ceremony.
So
Yeah.
if you need to sleep 20 hours and you can't because life doesn't let you.
Boy. Yeah, been there too. You know, just sleep the best that you can. And, you know, you'll still be processing during the day. It just will take a few more days to process. But it happens. Like that's the great thing about doing this. Like when you're shifting it in the unconscious, is the motion is happening. And, you know, at most you might be able to slow it down a little bit, but the motion's happening. You know what I mean? You almost can't stop it. And so, yeah, you know, if you're. Mm-hmm.
No, I was going to say, not only does it feel more solid, I already feel like braver about it.
Yeah, good.
So there's more
perfect.
of a emotional component as well.
Yeah. Really. I mean, it will even start to affect like your physiology a little bit. Like you know, it should, you know, filter down into the, like you said, the emotional body and into your physiology. Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah. Thank you.
Good for you.
We had a couple chat shares, but you guys obviously can interrupt at any time.
Feel free to unmute. It's been a while since I heard you guys. It's nice to hear your guys' voice again.
I was able to feel that I accomplished my goal and it was completely real.
Good. Yeah, doesn't it feel like more solid, more real, and like more like not out there, but like kind of inside, like integrated. You're entwined in it.
With the breath, the goal started to disappear.
Yeah, so when the goal's disappearing, it's starting to become more essence than form. And so like it's in a way being energized, but it's also starting kind of a evolutionary process. So sometimes what will happen is you'll notice that the goal is changing a little bit, or it starts to look like it's in motion, or it starts to morph, or you had some other goals and they all kind of start to combine into one big goal, or sometimes it completely disappears. And so in that state is when something new or different can happen. If something new or different didn't need to happen, then you wouldn't be working on the goal. The goal would already be, you know, in motion or already would have happened, right? So you're trying to bring something in motion. And a lot of times when we're doing this, we're starting to address our blind spots or our hesitations or our fears or, you know, past traumas, whatever it might be, the things that are holding us back. And so we're getting a bigger picture, because in the unconscious, your unconscious sees a much greater picture than what we see in our normal everyday life. Our normal everyday life is like looking through something through a microscope. Your unconscious is really like looking at something through a telescope. I mean, it just sees a much bigger picture. And so unconsciously, we're aware of a lot of things. It's just that we don't make decisions on these things because we don't have the awareness of them. You know, we have the unconscious awareness, and so they affect us somewhat, but we're not making conscious decisions based on these things. And so, yeah, good for you.
I completely sense of bliss.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's very peaceful. I mean, it can be very, very peaceful. You know, it's like kind of what Cindy said, like, you know, she feels braver. It takes kind of the fear out of it. And, you know, it feels like when things are kind of like chaotic, like uncertain's not the right word. It's more like kind of chaotic or not in motion. It can cause anxiety, it can cause fears, it you know, can stir up traumas. But when you really feel like the momentum is moving in that direction, that, you know, the ground's under your feet, and you have that momentum and that energy behind it, all of a sudden your anxiety really starts to diminish, because it's like, yeah, it's going to happen. It might go this way, it might go that way, but it's going to happen.
I suddenly felt very, very tired as well. Totally
Yeah.
surprised me.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, good for you guys. You're shifting something. I mean, I just saw my teacher, when was that? Like about a week ago. And oh boy, I was wiped out for like, no joke, 2 days. Had the wildest dreams, wildest dreams. And then, things are in motion and things started shifting. And
It took the idea out of the realm of fantasy and it started to become an intentional goal.
good for you. Yeah, good for you. I mean, that's a beautiful, all these are, I mean, perfect answers, beautiful answers.
Dissolve in goal.
Yeah.
I feel more confident about accomplishing the goal.
Yeah. So, I've talked about like this several times is, we have the form and we have essence. And so really what you're talking about is yin and yang, right? Yin and yang. And the back and forth between yin and yang produces all phenomena in the universe, right? And so yin is the structure and yang is the essence, right? And so one of the laws of yin and yang is whenever something becomes polarized, when something comes to the extreme, it produces the opposite. So if structure becomes, if somebody really is focusing on the structure of something, at some point, it starts to attract an essence. Now, that essence that you're attracting, it can be of high vibration or it could be of low vibration, right? If there's a lot of negative thinking, if there's a lot of fear-based thinking, if there's a lot of trauma from the past, when that structure, that idea, that concept goes to the extreme, the essence that's being attracted is based on the thoughts that are being thought repeatedly or the emotion that's being felt strongly, right? And so if it's a lot of doubt, fear, trauma, hesitation, the essence that comes in is associated with that, right? But if the structure starts to be looked at and focused, and the thought is of higher, of achieving the goal, of seeing the goal, materializing the goal, of overcoming the obstacles, then the essence that comes in is of a higher vibration, right? It's of a higher vibration. So in a way, it kind of ensouls that structure, right? And so when the essence becomes extreme, that is when your goal starts to kind of vanish. Like you'll be sitting and thinking of your goal, and all of a sudden, boom, your goal disappears, right? It's because there's so much essence that the structure has fallen away. But when something becomes to the extreme, it produces the opposite. So now this higher essence that you've sat and you visualized is actually now starting to attract a new, more refined structure. So when we're doing it in this particular process, what starts to happen is it starts to be a new way of thinking, a new thought process, a new opinion, a new way of behaving. The thoughts, the opinions, the attitude, the behavior, those are all structures. The emotion that passes through it is the essence, right? And so when the goal disappears, it's the structure is actually starting to change, right? And then boom, you have your new structure, and it's like, oh, I'm thinking about it differently again. And then you focus on it for a while, and then it starts to attract more essence. So if you keep going through and doing this process over and over again, you'll actually evolve a goal or a project, or this could be done in a relationship. For me, the first 10 years or so that I did this, I did it as a spiritual practice. I would just sit and think of a deity, and I was like, that's what I would do. I would just keep thinking of the deity, keep thinking of the deity, keep thinking of the deity. And this really starts an evolutionary process where your thoughts change, your mental faculties change. As these things change, you're going from a state of homeostasis to allostasis, which means your body and your mind are always trying to preserve themselves, right? They're always trying to maintain a sense of balance. They don't really judge things as good as bad. They just judge it as like, okay, this is a piece of me, it's there, let's balance it, right? And so what starts to happen is, even if we have things that are not working for us, if they're in the mind long enough, the mind goes, well, that's just what we are, so let's preserve it. The body goes, okay, this is a behavior that we do, let's preserve it, right? And so essence is how you break down these particular structures so that they can evolve, and you go into a state temporarily of allostasis, right? Allostasis, or change. Then from this state you change, and then you change for a little bit, and then boom, your body goes, oh, this is the new us, let's preserve this. So now if you start to have this new thought process that is more appropriate, like Cindy says, I feel better about it, I feel braver about it, your mind goes, let's protect that, let's preserve that. Your body goes, yeah, I like that. It doesn't really judge it even as that I like it. It just goes, this is the new us, let's preserve this, right? So the more that you can do this, you can actually hold on to it longer, because the essence is changing the structure. So for all of us, because of the nature of our mind, we focus on structure because it's something that we can hold on to. If you try to go and say, okay, focus on the essence of something, it's formless. It's hard to touch. It's hard to wrap your hands around something that has no form, right? So if you understand the law of yin and yang, that if you take something to the extreme, it produces the opposite. If you constantly focus on a structure, eventually the essence comes. So now what you're doing is like, what kind of thought process am I having as I focus on the structure, so that actually what you're doing is you're attracting a different kind of essence than what has been passing before. It's always had essence passing through it. Our negative thoughts, our negative thinking, our self-sabotage, our self-judgments, our difficulties, even our traumas, there's an essence that passes through it. So sometimes when you put your attention on it and then you raise the vibration of what you're thinking, you just raise it for a little bit, you keep focusing on it. And part of what you're doing, like when you're doing the breath like that, is you're moving the energy from your lower centers to your higher centers, right? So naturally right there, you're changing the essence right then and there, right? When you're thinking something negative about something, it is your lower centers are more overactivated. When you're thinking of something very positive, like Cindy saying, I feel braver. If you were to look at her energetically, more of her upper centers are going to be bigger, and they're taking control of her lower centers, right? So holding this goal, you're focusing on the structure, right? You're focusing on the structure, you're thinking of the structure, and then you start to do the breath. What you're doing is you're actually shifting it from a lower vibration of essence to a higher vibration essence. As you do that, the structure begins to change. It's not just visualization. It's not just an affirmation. It is actually based on the laws of nature. It's based on the laws of yin and yang. There's actually a science to the materialization that we do in the different classes. Yeah, kind of interesting. I find it actually quite fascinating. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be about prosperity. It doesn't have to be about a goal. It could be about healing. It could be about a relationship. It could be about a spiritual practice. It could be connecting to an angel. It could be about all kinds of things. When I used to do healings full time, before I did a healing on every person, I would listen to what was going on. I would ask them some questions, and then I would do this technique for a couple of minutes, visualizing them healing of their health issue, and then I would do the healing on them. You could do all kinds of versions of this.
Letty?
Yes, hi, Greg and Sam.
Hey,
Um,
Betty.
Hi. Okay, so I did have a question in regards to that. Something kind of came to mind.
Mhm.
I have a friend that is struggling. We're kind of halfway through the school year, but she's still struggling with the idea that she didn't get the position that she wanted when she applied for it at the beginning of the school year.
Right.
Could she put like that thought and then do the materialization?
Yeah.
Because she says she knows it's her ego affecting her, but like it's almost like she's miserable at work now because she didn't get the job.
Right.
So she's struggling a lot. Like I mean, she tries to do like the meditations that Master Co does. I mean, she tries different things, and I mean, I don't know how else to.
Yeah. Have her do, even if you don't do all the prep work that we did before, you know, like if you just like run her through the thing where she holds it in her heart and does the materialization breath, it's a very good way to let go of the old emotions and the old thought processes. Like, you know, like in a situation like that, I mean, if you really sit and think about like her position, like there's almost like for her, like, you know, she put in for this, it didn't happen. So for her right now, she's not really able to see anything in the future. She feels really stuck in the right now. And so in a way, she doesn't have hope, right? And it's just because of her lens is so in the right now. And so whenever you see that, whenever you see like when the person is stuck in the right now and is not able to see like in like, okay, what about in next year? What about 2 years? What about you know, like to see that way, we all get stuck that way. You know, every person can get stuck that way. And whenever you see that, that is physiological emotional response. And so that is a lower center emotional response. And so that's what people refer to as lower emotions. And so your physiology is generating an emotional response for you to take action in the environment to thrive, right? But then eventually it turns into a thought process. So when you go through and you do the materialization breath, you're shifting the energy from the lower centers to the upper centers. And as she does that, she can start to see like, okay, but like I'm already halfway through the year, I might have another chance at the beginning of this next year, or, you know, there's other opportunities, right? And so the thought process will change, but also what starts to happen is you're activating the heart, and the heart is like a radio antenna that starts to attract possibilities and potentials, right? It's like it starts to send out like these little, you know, potential connections to where, you know, maybe that job isn't the greatest job for her. Maybe there's another job for her, or maybe, you know, she has to make some sort of connection because of the politics of the situation, you know, whatever it is, it starts to help things be like more lubricated, so things kind of flow a little bit easier. Like another way of saying that, that's not long-winded, it becomes easier to see the goal in the future and then overcome obstacles.
Yeah, because I'm like real surprised, and we're halfway through the school year, and she's still like really stuck. And I was just like, well,
I mean, she probably got pretty traumatized by it. Like, you know, she had all her hopes on it, and then, you know, is miserable. Like, but anytime you see that, like, you know, like I'll catch myself doing it sometimes where I'm just like stuck in the moment. And when you see yourself like stuck in the moment, that is a lower emotion. And so if you can just raise it up into the heart, or, you know, into the higher faculties, you'll start to go, well, okay, this is happening, but, you know, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that. You know, you start to see potentials and possibilities. In stuck in the moment, you're seeing it from the lower nature. The lower nature just sees it as the right now.
And honestly, like when I looked at the whole situation, like I really didn't think that particular principal would give her the opportunity. But I didn't know how to tell her, you know, because it was kind of.
Yeah, I mean, there's politics, and I mean, you know, there's politics in everything. If you want to see, you know, Master Choy used to make this joke is, you know, give somebody set a goal and put 3 people on it, and boom, there's the birth of politics. You know, it's just any time where there's multiple people in a situation, there's always, you know, the politics of the situation, not just the performance the individual is doing.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Greg, and thanks for the help
You're
with
so
my
welcome.
brother as well.
Yeah, oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. Keep me posted
you
on
so
that, by the way, lady.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much.
Someone shared, speaking of opposite, my goal went from a negative of stopping something to a positive of becoming something else.
Oh, tremendous.
And someone said,
Look at you.
Yeah, someone said exactly. I experienced the same thing.
Look at you. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, sometimes the stopping the thing is, you know, we're wanting to stop some sort of suffering or break some sort of habit, but like if it doesn't have something to replace it or distract us or move in a different direction, you know, we just end up getting like stuck in it. And so again, it goes back to that the energy is stuck in the lower centers, you know, and so by going through and doing this breathing technique, you know, this isn't something that I invented or figured out or something. This was something that was taught to me when I was young. It's a form of a materialization thing that we would do in a ceremony, and so you know, we're just doing a version of it with oils, and so just as effective, actually, I think. But it's a very ancient practice. This is something that has gone on for a very, very long time. I find it to be incredibly, incredibly powerful, personally.
Can a cancer patient do the materialization breath and hold in heart good health and
Yeah.
happiness?
Yeah. Visualize have the person visualize themselves healthy and happy is the thing to do. Like the thing with cancers and viruses is try not to visualize that, like try not to visualize it like it's a battle. You know what I mean? Just visualize the end result, because the thing is the virus and the cancer have a little bit of consciousness, not much, but a little bit. And so when there is aggression towards the virus or the cancer, sometimes it stimulates the organism's mechanism to thrive, you know, to try to establish itself in the environment, and the environment is your body. And so, you know, visualizations in this area is like happy, healthy, or your body is full of light. You know, just feel your body full of light. You know, white light, brilliant white light. You know, that's super safe, super healing. It's not aggravating to the viruses and the cancers. In the early days when they were treating cancers with chemotherapy, that's why they had to be so aggressive with the chemotherapy, is the chemotherapy was affecting the cancers, and then the cancer would start to fight back. And so they would have to keep increasing the potency, and the potency was almost to the point of causing the body to die. And so, you know, over the years, they've gotten better and more refined about it, but it's still, you know, it's a bit of a fight. And so the more that you can keep the person calm and happy and a good attitude, it's not just that they're more likely to heal, it's that it's not aggravating the condition, which makes it easier to heal.
Would you recommend the materialization oil as we do the materialization
Yeah, you could do
classes,
that.
or stick with the cypress sage and
No,
eucalyptus?
you could use the materials. There's all kinds of things. We were just trying to keep it really simple tonight so that if you hadn't had any of the materialization classes, that everybody could benefit. And, you know, those were very cleansing, but the materialization for the breath is really good. You know, we have that materialization class coming up in, like, what is it, like a month or 2 months? What is it, 2 weeks or something like that?
Yeah, the star one?
No,
Or...
the Sarasota. When's Sarasota?
Oh, the Sarasota Higher Creativity.
Higher creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a materialization. That's part of the materialization.
It's like 2 weeks from now.
And so, yeah, I mean, there's different things to be done. Tonight we just did like a free form. You know, we cleaned some things up just because, you know, people are usually trying to let go of certain habits and behaviors and then trying to bring something new in. And so I just thought, you know, most of you guys are probably doing that, so we would just lean into it and try to help the best we could.
I kept trying to hold the goal I wanted to materialize, but it kept switching to another one.
Yeah, like I'd say if it keeps switching to the other one, maybe do the other one first and then go back to the other one. Yeah. Or sometimes they might even be connected. It's hard to say. I mean, you know your goals better. But if it keeps jumping over to the other one, it's probably needs more attention or is maybe a little bit more time sensitive. Okay, you guys. Well, thanks so much for joining us tonight. It's been a few weeks, and so missed seeing you guys and interacting. So it's good to be back on track with everybody. And I hope you guys can join, even if it's just for a little bit, for the free weekend this weekend. Looking forward to it. So we're going to be doing oils and meditation and materialization, a little bit of everything, you know. So we'll make it a true, like a kind of spa/retreat weekend. So, okay, you guys, we'll talk soon. See you next week.
See you next week,
Thank
guys.
you. Bye.
Take care, you bet.
Thank you, Greg.
Take care. Good to see you guys.